Hello everybody, it's the Generally Good Gamer here, and the game in the background we got today is Orcs Must Die. So, a bit of a new game, but that's alright, you know. I know you guys, you like your routine and all that, but, you know, gotta keep things fresh, and moving on. And also the second one's coming out, if you don't know, the second game, coming out on the 30th of this month, I believe. So, you know, I'll probably be doing a similar thing to this. What I'm going to be doing right now, and that was a bit of a misplacement, so I'm going to be moving that, and there we go. Got all three of those placed there. That's good. But what I'm going to be doing is this going to be more like a, for now, I think with these first 3 episodes, or first 2 episodes, when I say episodes, I actually mean levels. These are levels, so for these first few episodes, these are all going to be me talking about basically anything I want. So for now, this can be my second vlog about the Olympics, and what I've decided to do is I might call this some sort of, I don't want to just call it vlog because that's a bit boring, but right now it's quite late during the day, the night as it were, and so I'm feeling a bit more mellow, a bit more cooled down, a bit more calm and relaxed. So this got to be, you know, I think I'll call this some sort of like a late night talk show sort of name, which I'll come up with later. Well, you guys can help me if you want, but I like, you know, some sort of late night talk show where everything's, you know, relaxed, laid back, and you know, it's just me and you talking together and having a good time, or rather me just talking, you know, and you can listen, you can just listen. But what are we going to be talking about then today? What are we going to be talking about? So, as I said, the Olympics. I'm from the UK, I'm from England, and so we're hosting the Olympics at the moment, which is great. It doesn't really affect me at all. I live away from where everything's going on, so I live down south in Southampton, and there's nothing really going on apart from perhaps a few little sailing events, but they're not even that close. The nearest sailing events I think are in Poole and Dorset sort of area, so you know, it's still quite a way away. So nothing really is affecting me. No real traffic problems at all anywhere. Don't take the train, so I don't need to. I'm not really going to London for any reason. I don't live far away from London. I live about an hour and a half-ish away by train, or by drive as well, about the same. There's no reason for me to go there. I didn't get any tickets for anything, unfortunately. Not that I even tried. But I've got some family that are, you know, going to see a few events and things like that. But I didn't actually watch the opening ceremony yesterday. I had the TV on and everything, but I didn't actually watch it. I'll get onto that a bit later, because that's, you know, it sounds a bit strange. You know? I'm supposed to be all sort of honoured and proud that, you know, we're hosting the Olympics, but yeah, I do feel that, but also I feel like, you know, nothing's really changed where I'm from. There's no sort of inclination that anything big's going on. I mean, the TV's on all day downstairs around the house, you know, just watching the Olympics, or if you know, you walk past, you get something to eat, you'll take a look and you'll see that the Olympics are on. But that's about the only thing, you know. I do like that though. I do like that sort of atmosphere where you can just, you know, pass by the TV and just see your country, or see countries just like, you know, dueling it out in the judo, as I was watching earlier, and there's cycling on as well. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's just a nice sort of time of year though. Anyway, you know, when I've always liked the Olympics. I remember one year actually I was watching it in Centre Parks. You know what Centre Parks is? It's basically like a retreat. It's like a foresty sort of landscape in England, and there are a few different ones you can go to, and basically all you do, you don't use your car, you just cycle around, and it's like a fully sort of it's like a massive like green town or village. You all live in sort of log huts, and you cycle around everywhere, and there are lots of restaurants, there's a small supermarket and everything like that. There's lots of activities, and it's just a really nice sort of retreat. I really like it there. But I remember when I was much younger, I went one time, and the Olympics were on, so it must have been about 8 years ago now. Yeah, it must have been 8 years ago, and I can't remember, I don't know who was hosting it. Maybe it was even 12 years ago. It was a long time ago, but whoever was hosting it, it was on late at night, all the games and everything. I remember I had my own room, I had my own TV in my room. I still don't have a TV in my room, but I had my own TV in my room, and I was watching the Olympics, and I loved that. I absolutely loved it. And for me, that was like one of the highlights, definite highlights of the Olympic Games. Just so like calming and cool. You just, you know, watch it whenever you want. There's always something good on TV, especially the is it called the bowls or the bowls? That's my favourite. And also the one where they They throw one of those like flat sort of balls, or flat. I can't. They've got a flat surface basically, and they've got like a little ridge on the top where you hold onto it, and you throw it along the ice, and then two people like skate along, and they just they brush the path. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what it's called at all, but I love that one. I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to that this year as well. But anyway, I want to get on to the Olympics, focusing more on the UK and you know, how proud I was. Well, as I said, I didn't actually see it, so I'm just going by what other people said. But it was supposedly, you know, it was you know, because when you host the Olympics, you're supposed to, you know, put on a massive show because the entire world is watching, and it's such a big event that, you know, you want something that can be remembered by. And a lot of these countries, for example, China last year in the last 4 years in the Beijing Olympics, they wanted to, you know, try and prove that they were one of the big boys now, one of the big players, and that they were, you know, developed basically. And so for the UK, it was more like, you know, what are we going to do? You know, we've had a great past. We've had a hugely successful past. We've lost all of our lands and everything now. We've given them all away. So what have we got to prove? What have we got to show to people? And, you know, for us, it wasn't exactly clear, but perhaps something will eventually come through. You know, because I was looking earlier on like a few videos just to get, you know, a bit more sort of information about the Olympics and what I missed out on. But it seems that what they were doing is basically they were trying to give a vast, brief history of the UK and what we stand for. So there was sort of an unfurling of a very collective historical, cultural and social sort of memories of the UK and what we stand for. So, for example, the NHS, which is our healthcare system, Industrial Revolution, Great Ormond Street, invention of the internet, which we did, which we were the proprietors of. What else? Chitty Bang Bang, Sergeant Pepper, Pink Floyd. There was also Mr. Bean as well. James Bond with the Queen. There's a lot of stuff, but you know, they should have really put in Stephen Fry though. I was a bit annoyed about that. They should have had some Stephen Fry, and yeah, that was a bit of a shame. But also David Beckham as well. He had a good part. I thought his was a nice little touch. I'd heard before that he was supposed to have a part in it because, you know, he didn't make the team, which is annoying. He wasn't chosen for the football team. If you don't know much about football, they're supposed to choose. Well, they have to choose. I think it's under 21s, under 23s, but they have to have the entire team made up of under 21s, under 23s. I can't quite remember. Then they're allowed to pick 3 elder players as well, or older players over 23 or over 21, whatever it is. And I think the 3 they picked was, actually I can't remember. I think Ryan Giggs was one of them, but I can't remember the 2. But the one that they didn't pick, which was, you know, a bit of a, not a bit of a shock maybe, but a bit of a letdown perhaps, was David Beckham. It was a letdown for me. I like David Beckham. I think he's a great guy. Nothing against him. And you know, because he's a bit of a well, he is you know, the sort of, what's the word? I'm trying to think. He represents football for the UK, I guess. I think you could say that. He's yeah, he carries English football, I guess. You know, he's always put his heart and soul into it. He was England football captain. He still plays it even now. He moved to Milan even to continue his career in English football, which you might not be able to believe, but I think Manchester United were going to fire him, going to get rid of him because, you know, they didn't believe he was as good as he could be. And in order to keep his English spot and keep playing top level football, he moved to Milan because he knew that he'll be taken by those Italian teams. So that was the reason that he moved out there, not because he was getting paid more or anything like that, but because Manchester United were going to be getting rid of him, but he still wanted to be able to play football for England. So he sacrificed a lot for England. I think, you know, it's a bit unfair perhaps that he was, you know, let down and not kept with the team, because I think, you know, even if his form doesn't show up to light that he's one of the best players, you know, he would have given a great show, and perhaps there would have been more ticket sales as well to actually just see David Beckham playing. So I think that was a bit of a I think there was too much emphasis put on getting the medals in comparison to getting more popularity, more sort of just people, you know, infused in the Olympic sport of football. So I think that would have been, you know, a good step, perhaps getting David Beckham. But, you know, they still got David Beckham to have a good spot in the Olympics. So he, what he did was, if you didn't see, I didn't see either, but I saw it later, was I think that he, so try and read and find out what he did. It was, he drove a speedboat apparently through one of the Olympic rings, is that right? Yeah, he drove a speedboat with the Olympic torch through one of the Olympic rings underneath the London Bridge, which is, you know, amazing honour. So, you know, good one for you, David Beckham. I'm proud of you. You have my respect. You have my respect. But the reason that I wasn't watching it is because I was working. I was working last night in a pub, but you know, in a pub they always have Sky TV. They have TV going on all the time. So we had the BBC on, and we were watching, or the customers were watching the TV, watching the event as it was unfurling. But unfortunately, you know, if you're working in a busy pub, you can't watch the TV at the same time. So I was like catching glimpses every so often of some Industrial Revolution men with mallets or hammers, you know, pounding up along the ground or whatever. I don't even know what they were doing. I think someone told me later it was about the Industrial Revolution. I saw a bit of the flag bearing and all that, but I didn't really understand what was going on, which is fine. But I'll catch up a bit later on. All I've done so far is just read about it and watch a few videos. But from what I've heard from Facebook as well, a lot of people seem to really enjoy it, and enjoy it a lot more than people thought they would. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a bit more tongue-in-cheek. Well, it was tongue-in-cheek, but you know, in a good way, in a very good way. And a lot of people were actually saying, you know, how proud they were to actually be British and to, you know, have their country represented in such a way. So Danny Boyle, you know, stand up, take a bow. He did really well. Anyway, yeah, I had a bit of an issue though yesterday when I was at work. Yeah, people were enthralled by the Olympics and the Olympic Games. That's a good thing, you know. That's a really good thing. It's good to see people with such an interest and a passion for their own country. But you know, people, you know, wouldn't leave. So the Olympic Games, it ended around 12:30ish, and we're supposed to close our pub. Last orders are at 10 to 12, so there's no more drink orders at 12 basically. And at that time, you know, people are allowed to stick around. They are allowed to stick around. Sometimes people stick around to like past latest. But at past, you know, the only reason they're sticking around is because they're being social and they're talking to each other and talking to us. Because we're supposed to turn all electronics off, and we're supposed to actually be out of the place by past. So the staff, that is supposed to be out by past. So what we were doing basically is, you know, we're supposed to turn the electronics off, which includes the TV, the lights, everything off by quarter past 12. And obviously people weren't happy about that. One of my my staff members, of my mates, he turned the TV off, and there was a massive uproar, like a huge uproar, and we didn't know what to do basically. So we asked the manager. He was like, "Yeah, just turn it back on." So we turned it back on, much to the delight, while you know still throwing curses at my mate, much to the delight of the customers, the drinkers, because they were all very drunk. Like, this is a very local pub, so everyone in there, you know, basically we know their faces, we know their names, and they know ours as well. And it's like a running joke sort of thing towards everyone. Like, everyone has their own sort of like joke. Like, mine is, I'm not going to say, should I say mine? No, I'm not going to say actually, because you'll think even worse of me than I actually am. Than you'll do already. But basically, we turned the TV back on, and we thought, you know, it's going to be another 5 minutes, it should be fine. Because another reason that we need to get people out is that if the police come by and people are still drinking, even though we're not serving them, if the police come by and they're still drinking, then we will get shut down. We will get shut down, and you know, we'll lose our jobs basically. So we're getting a little bit worried because, you know, police have been known to actually, well, police do drive past and they do look into pubs to make sure that everything is, you know, is legal basically. Especially on like an Olympic night, you know, it's a big night and people are going to be drinking a lot. So it's one of those nights where, you know, you might be at more risk of being caught. So basically then, we had to close down, but people wouldn't leave. Like, people wouldn't leave. The TV was still on, so people were sat down. No one was leaving, and you know, we had to start trying to move people out. And I was given the job of the designated bouncer, I guess you could say, or doorman. So I had to move around and start, you know, moving people out, saying like, "Excuse me, can you please leave?" And I got, regarding the fact that I've only just started working here as well, you know, I'm definitely hated now. But I had to move everyone out, and I got a lot of bad words my way. a lot of pushing and shoving actually as well, but that's alright, I could take that, I could take it. And a couple of people actually barred as well, which isn't a good thing. It's definitely not a good thing, especially on Olympic night. But people are barred, and eventually I managed to get everyone out by about 35 past. So it was just past half past, which is right, not too bad. But there was one guy. There was just one guy, and he was a right dickhead. I don't like to swear, but he was a dickhead. He really was. And he sat there on the bar, just like sat on his stool with his drink in his hand. And I said, "Excuse me, mate. I've got to ask you to leave now." He was like, "No, sorry, I'm watching the TV. You know, I'm watching the TV right now. No, you want to push me out? Yeah, you go ahead, push me out." I was like, "You did just watch me go and push all those other guys out, didn't you?" He said, "Yeah, but you don't scare me." Like, I don't try and scare people. I don't try and, you know, put anyone down or anything like that. I don't try and be a hard person at all. Like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna be a hard person, I'm not gonna respect you, and you shouldn't be respected. You shouldn't respect yourself. It's not a good thing to be a hard person. You know, you want to have a good time, you want to have fun. At the same time, though, you got to respect other people. You got to respect other people have their own lives and they want to do what they want to do. So this guy was sat down there, 25 minutes past the time he should have been out, really, and it's just, you know, it's just awful. Like I said to him, I said, if you don't get out, if the police come by, they're going to shut us down, and everyone here are going to lose their jobs. Everyone here is going to lose their jobs. And you might even get in trouble as well. He said, "I don't care if you guys lose your jobs. If you lose your jobs, that's, you know, that's your fault for, you know, being dickheads, for being pricks." I was like, "Right, you're making no sense now. I know you've had a lot to drink, but you have to get out." He said, "I'm not going to get out until I've finished watching TV." I was like, "Well, I will turn the TV off then. Is that alright with you?" He said, "Yeah, fine. I don't care. I bet you won't." Yeah, alright, nice one, mate. So I went over and turned the TV off. He jumped over the bar, slipped up because he was so drunk, and landed on his face, and broke his nose. We had to call the ambulance. He started crying as well. So this guy, he's about my dad's age, so he's about 50, 53 or something like that, and was crying behind the bar. Called the ambulance, got the ambulance out, and you know, didn't really care about this guy at all, because he'd been mouthing off at not just myself, but a couple of female members of staff as well, and another guy. So we all had enough of him, and we didn't care really that he broke his nose. Like, I would have, you know, if it had come to it and they asked how did it happen, like, literally I would have said, like, well, he did fall over and like slip over and break and like fall on his face, but I wish I did break his nose myself, because I really had a bit of a vendetta against him at that point. Definitely a vendetta against him. Anyway, I should try and stop, you know, let my emotions get the best of me, and yeah, that's the reason I didn't watch the Olympics. But I'm definitely going to catch up a bit later on. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to sleep first, because I'm very tired. But I should get this video out to you tomorrow about lunchtime-ish, a bit later. So hopefully you're looking forward to that. And hopefully you're looking forward to more Orcs Must Die as well. Alright, I've been a generally good gamer, and you guys have been fantastic. Thank you very much.